Ladies and gentlemen, I am BN Pink, and today we are gonna be. What?
Gonna make it list. Gonna make it list. Gonna make it list. Playing BattleNations. Gonna make it list. Make it list. Gonna make it list.
Alright. So we're making a tier list. And like all good tier lists, we've got S plus being units that are so incredible and amazing, and we've got D being ones that you shouldn't even bother with, to be honest. But we're basing this tier list off of practicality and cost to use ratio. Let's get right into it. Starting off with the trooper, your classic, your humble man. You know, everybody starts off with their loyal troopers. We're gonna put them in C. Shock troopers, just an automatic trooper, but costing nanos. You get a few of them for free, bottom of C. Now, the grenadier, that's what I'm talking about. Your first bit of range in the game, you know, and he does some good damage. Same thing with the mortar here, except this guy costs nanos. We're gonna throw him in front of the shock trooper. That might be subject to change. The arsonist, because it costs merits and it's kind of dookie, we're gonna put him down here. Same with the hunter. Don't hate me on this. It's just cost to use is not that great. Now our first AOE, we're gonna adopt that term. Trust. It's gonna hit all units on the board. Your front line, pretty much. It's, you know, the gunner. He's an A. I love him. He's great. Cost to use is amazing too. He's good. Now, nano, you know, he's a cool nano grenadier, but not important. Same with the Imperial Dragon. I'm not going to put him in D because there's, like, nano unit. He's cool. He looks cool. Is he cool? You get a free one, so that's better than nothing. Junior officer, I don't know. Better than the hunter. Not great. Cost merits. Isn't that cool? Maybe in the future we could implement some cool abilities. That would be pretty sweet. We've got the riot trooper. Your first bit of defense in the game. That's what I'm talking about right here. You need this guy. He's great. Love the riot trooper. And he looks sick. Cool profile picture. Even though that's not what we're basing this off of. You know that. You know that. It's practicality and cost to use. Speaking of cost to use ratio, we already knew that the wimp was going up here. I don't need to explain it. Once you get him rank 6, what a behemoth. Sharpshooter. You know, it's better than the shock trooper. Heavy gunner. For nanos and the weapons factory. Not worth. If he was almost as good as the TF2 heavy, he deserves to be higher, but he's not. The Saboteur. Man, this guy looks cool. For the price of nanos, though, he's better than the shock trooper, better than the mortar team. He does look cool. And he does a good bit of damage. If you're willing to spend the nanos, he's not bad. We'll put him right behind the grenadier in terms of use. Flame trooper, my boy. He's better than the hunter. And you know what? The gunner's better than the hunter too, but not good. You get a free one. By the time you get it, not good enough. Ranger. Love the Ranger personally. Big Ranger fan. I'd say it's one step behind the trooper. You're going to use it when you get it, but after that, it falls off. Not that great. Got the Hornet. This is like half of a TK for merits. I think it's for sure, you know what? It's the definitive top of C. It's cool when you use him. He's good, a fun unit to use. Not that practical, and the cost to use him is pretty expensive. But when you do, he's fun. Now the sniper. It's going to take a lot of bars. You're going to need the Spec Ops facility and a few bars to make him. And once you get him, he's not terrible. He's better than the sharpshooter, better than the mortar. But in terms of practicality, you know, you're going to use the units above this and maybe below this a little more often than the sniper. But he's good for what he does. Bazooka team. Once again, not great. Better than the shock trooper, but not by much. Only because you get a free one. Armadillo. Same thing. It's good. I love the look of the armadillo personally. but in terms of use, it's great. It's another set of armor, but not the best. By this time in the game, you already have a few light tanks at your disposal, and you're not going to be using them much. And if not, tanks are just right around the corner. Not needed. He's a little bit worse than the shock trooper. The marksman. Yeah, this is a tricky one. It's better than the sniper for sure, but it does cost nanos, and that's the only thing that's bringing it down. So, neck and neck. The commando, you get a free one. It costs nanos, but the free one that you get, you're going to use so much up until you stop using it. Now, the RPG trooper, I've never used that once in my life. But the demolitionist, on the other hand, now we're talking. This is a fantastic unit. Does great damage. Hits the board. You can choose anywhere you want, and he'll get the job done. Above the Grenadier, B. Great unit. We've got the Field Agent. Now remember, this list is without the TF2 units. The heavy is better. But the Field Agent, it's got a huge attack. I mean, by the time you get it in the game as well, it's practical, it's tactical, it's cool, and you've got a chance to stun almost more than half the board. The Field Agent is great. There's been a lot of slander going on about him, but that's because we've unlocked a lot of other units. Don't forget its place. It's a great unit. I think it. The cost of bars is worth it. We got the Turtle Sheller. We got the Turtle Shell. This is what the Armadillo wishes that it was. It's a good unit. It's a good unit. In fact, I think it's better than the Saboteur and the Commando. You're going to be using it a lot more. The cost isn't terrible. A little bit of steel. And it's got a second chance with spawning a Grenadier. So we're going to put the Turtle Sheller right in the, halfway point of B. The Jug. I love the Jug. I love Juggernauts in general. Modern Warfare 3, oh my gosh, that was my kill streak. However, Juggernauts and BattleNations suck, and they need a boost. I don't have the heart to put it in D, but for nanos, it's bottom of C tier for sure. Ninja, come on, it's a Ninja. Even though it costs nanos, and it's not the greatest unit, this is practicality here. It's better than the Shock Trooper, better than Bazooka Squad. In fact, it's better than the Mortar Team. I'm going to put it right above the Marksman, all right? Because you're going to be using all of these units way more than you're going to be using the Ninja, but it is cool. I won't get that wrong. The Peacekeeper, outstanding. Talk about a heavy tank for a unit, and it's got a stun. Are you kidding me? That's A tier. The cost to use ratio is incredible. Going to be using this a lot once you run out of your main formation for boss strikes. Peacekeeper is A+. Great unit. The Hitman, less cooler than the Saboteur, and honestly, you're not going to use him nearly as much as he's better than the Shock Trooper. He looks cool, don't get me wrong, but the cost to use at this point, especially when you unlock him in the game, you're not going to be using him. The Salamander. Oh my gosh. Arguably, one of the best fire units, if not the best fire unit in the game. A huge tank. Only downside of costing nanos. If you're able to shoulder the cost, it's one of the best ground units in the game, in my opinion. Just great. If you can afford it, get it. Big Game Hunter. Never used it before. Not going to rank it. Especially with the Chem Troops. I'm not a huge fan of the Chem Troops. Save your vials for the Wimps or for some tanks if that's your style. I would prefer to just wait in general and save it for plasma. I'm going to put this guy, more use than these guys, but I don't know. Not great. Oh my goodness. The Peacemonger. Talk about good Peacekeeper, nano unit. Just a tank. This is what the Jug should be. I'm going to put it for its cost little under the turtle sheller. You've never seen this before. Yeah, this is definitive for sure. Bio Grenadier. We're gonna put it. You're gonna get way more use than the mortar, but you got to make some for a quest. Not great. We're on to the lightning troops. Once air units come out, this might be big, but for now, I'm putting it above the jug. In fact, I'm putting both of these above the jug because as of right now, the laurels and the bars that it takes to make them, not worth. Not worth. Unless you were infecting units back in October, then you know they'd be better, but even then, there's more opportunity later down the line to get better units. Now we're on the vet. Oh my goodness. A land M10. Are you kidding me? This guy's an MVP. Talk about cost to use ratio being one of the most expensive units. However, one of the most used units. This, I'll say it right now, will be our only chance at a level 50 Ancient Sentinel run. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with me here. The vet, S tier. Got the Cryo Trooper. Not bad. A good little freeze. You're going to use them a little bit if this is your freeze option. I think he'll go behind the Commando. Yeah, he's not great. Actually, we'll throw him above the... No, I'm real indecisive here. It is the only freeze trooper, but there's better units later down the line, and we're about to get to them as well. I'll throw it above the shock trooper. When you use it, it's got niche uses, and it's nice to have it, but not necessary. The cost is high. Not terrible. Now the gorilla. Oh my goodness. This guy. Big fan. I think he's better than the Commando, better than the Saboteur for sure. A high nano cost, which you could be using for vets. But if you're able to shoulder it, this guy is tactical and practical. A good unit to use all around. He'll just get the job done. So we'll put him right behind the Grenadier. Great unit to use. Now these three units we haven't unlocked yet, but we know the general basis of them. This Arctic Trooper is going to be one of the best troops for infecting. And so just for that reason alone, I'll put him in front of the Bio Grenadier. Use both of these units for infecting. I've got the Elemental Trooper. It's going to be great. Get your elements in, your fire and your ice. Probably going to be used quite a bit. We'll throw them in B tier. And for the railgun, I've never used. We're throwing a D tier. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that completes our BattleNations Barracks tier list. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments. And I just want to say, thank you for stopping by.